Hi, welcome into the South End Capital Review, where today I'll be showing you the SBA 7A commercial real estate loan details, along with other SBA 7A loans, equipment financing, and a variety of others. My name is Michael with Viral Funding Solutions. I'm a business loan broker expert who's been able to help a lot of business owners and industries of all backgrounds and sizes get the right type of financing. And so today I'll be going into the SBA 7A for real estate investors or just looking for real estate purposes and or business funding related. I can do both and more. So what you're seeing here is the homepage of South End Capital. And let me get into who they are, where they come from, and so forth. Commercial Lending Reinvented. It was founded in 2009 as a nationwide non-conforming commercial lender. South End Capital became a division of Stearns Bank N.A., a 2.3 billion financial institution in June of 2021. So they're working in accordance with a bank. So it's just a division. This is what happens a lot with banking institutions, and they give somebody else the authority to handle certain services and programs and how they delegate all of that. It's very common. Our innovative balance sheet lending and comprehensive marketplace financing delivers a full spectrum of capital solutions for emerging and expanding businesses. South End Capital's tech-enabled platform and premier customer support offers equal access to industry-leading conventional and alternative equipment, real estate, and business funding. So I've partnered up with the right lenders that I associate with, and I know how the process works. And this is the best opportunity to get in with banks and to understand, okay, which lender is going to be the best for me, who is it? And I'm normally going to introduce you, show you to who they are. You can have a communication with them, and you will know in time. This is a great one to turn to. And I've also created content on commercial real estate, financing, banking, non-banking related. And I'm going to leave you more info to some of those that are more non-banking related down below in the description, as well as other details in the form of commercial real estate, single family, multifamily, all other types, foreign nationals, whatever you're trying to do, I can help associate with. So over here, we're going to go into some of the loan programs. And I'll leave more information too in the description, how to get started if this is a route you want to go into and have an association with a banking institution. Also, if you've come from the questionnaire, I probably sent you an email, you click the link to get here, you can refer back there and there should be an application link for you to get started. And I'll show you how that looks if you haven't seen it yet. So Lender VR 2022 Best, Stearns Bank, Forbes, Scotsman's Guide, loan programs, SBA Express, all the way over to real estate. And so SBA Express, this one goes up to 25,000. You've seen some that go up to 50, 150, 350. I have other lenders for those purposes too. So if you can qualify for more than 25,000, I know these types of institutions are always working on accessing more financing and being able to give more. So that could change in time. But I have other lenders too that associate with up to 150, up to 350. That again, if you came from my questionnaire form, there should probably be information on that. And if you haven't filled that out, I'll leave it down below in the description where you can get a very personalized and customized email response on your best funding option and options, breaking down what is the best loan scenario for you at advance. Can you add multiple things in the meantime? What is best? What's second best, if any? And then a conclusion and a roadmap on what to do, some bonus material on top of that. So without spending too much time on the SBA Express, you have over here the real estate, and I'll jump into SBA real estate financing in a moment. But 25,000 to 75 million competitive pricing, you get high LTV financing. Nonprofits, they are okay. This is fully amortizing loans, and I'll get into some of the fully amortizing component, especially with the SBA 7A in a moment. No prepay penalty, interest only available, unrestricted cash out, expedited closing process, flexible underwriting, investor and owner occupied commercial property. It's very important that you know, and if you've been around for some time, I'm sure you know that. We are a top rated ranked balance sheet real estate lender, offering streamlined mortgages for commercial and investment residential property, no personal residences. Rural locations, there are foreign nationals, like I kind of spoke on that earlier, not in depth, but special purpose property, even land, and other financing barriers can be considered. So I've been doing a lot of these have the land available, then we go into a ground up construction, whatever that project may be that it entails. Then we can go into a commercial property mortgage, whether it's here without South End Capital, or there's a variety of other lenders that I can associate with and do more of an in-house look. And the best thing about all of this is you always want to have more of that look at in-house type of setup. Even if you go directly and they have that, or it's indirectly and they have that, you have to look at it as I get more flexibility. And when we're talking in the realm of other SBA 7A loan options, and we could do an in-house soft pull before we go into a hard pull on those, and we can associate and I can review the file with my partners and who they are and the lenders and associate that with them before anything really goes through the underwriting and the thick of things. You'll know for a little bit that, hey, this is where we stand. This is where we can move into. At what point do we need documentation? I can communicate that with you. And so purchase, refinance, fix and flip, construction, development, bridge, and cash out loans are available in all 50 states plus DC. Our team, it's experience with complex commercial loan structures. So there's really nothing far and in between that we haven't seen that we really just say, hey, is that new? We've pretty much seen the majority of the files that come through, and we take care of you. We have more of a human approach. And if you've known me for some time, this is who I am, and I want to make sure I get to know you. And, when it comes to your business, what problems, pain points, where are you trying to get to? What keeps you up at night? What are you looking for? What are your expectations? What are we trying to use these funds for exactly? Why is it an SBA loan versus this? Da 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 da. Is it even going to qualify you, and so forth? And we provide flexible and creative short-term and long-term mortgages secured by a variety of property types. You can click below to learn more, and I'll leave a link. If it's not down below in the description, if you're coming from the email, you can go there, but I may leave it down below so you can get in there. But I would fill out the questionnaire form if you haven't yet so you can get an overall look, but it's all here, and I may provide more there too. So you see that part there, recent closings, 25,000 chiropractor, SBA express working capital, prime plus 4.5, and our prime rates right now at 7% for an SBA 7A loan. I know there are 504 loans and those out there that you may look at and say, okay, it's a bit different, maybe perhaps less, on how it's fully amortized over the extended amount of term. And over here, 870,000 health insurance company. And the SBA 7A is a truly amazing one. The 504, you've seen up to 10 million, even 22 million for certain purposes, heavy equipment, land. Maybe it's a combination of that and there's more. And we're looking at, can you even get that? And does the SBA 7A commercial real estate make more sense? And that's where a lot of the deals are coming through. And I would focus there on the SBA 7A CRE loan. And the SBA 504, a lot of the times you will see for a majority of purpose up to 5 million, and if not less, in this marketplace what people actually can get, and that's a shift. 5 million heavy equipment company, SBA 7A debt consolidation, 7.5% rate, 56-day closing, Baytown, Texas. So this is cool too. There's debt consolidating. I do a lot of these myself, whether it's with South End Capital or not, where I get a lot of people who are looking for refinances or they're looking for consolidating their existing loans and their debts. And they have, let's say, cash advances, term loans, or something like a line of credit and so forth, where we can look at consolidating it underneath 110-year amortization up to 25 years with real estate or whatever that may entail, what balances are available. We can ask for more documentation if need be, if you have those, and we'd like to see more of it. Team leadership, Noah Grayson, president and founder, Richard Sarbrowski, managing director, Matthew Knotson, VP sales director, Myron Alford, VP operations, Michael there, Kristen, Amy. I'm just going to quickly blaze through these, Joshua, and then you have Tom, commercial lending manager. And then you have a few things there. South End Capital launches lightning fast stated income SBA Express loans. FAQs, SEC, a lender or a broker. SEC is a division of Stearns Bank and a 2.2 billion, and we just went over there. As such, SEC is an approved direct commercial real estate lender. So you're getting the best, and it's a division of a bank. So that's a cool part about it too. And USDA, an equipment financing lender, administers cutting edge technology, which they do. Documents required to close, equipment financing, SBA. And I'll go into some of the stuff right now of what you would need. So let me transition over to, see, we have business there. And SBA Express 7A, SBA 504, USDA conventional non-conforming financing. And then I have another document over here that I want to turn to. See if I find it. There it is. So actually, we'll use this one to begin with. And there's more I can give you on the back end that I know about too. So here's more details. You can get a commercial real estate loan, CRE loan, with a minimum of FICO's credit score of 675. Yeah, we prefer 675. You can realistically, you could say 650, but 675, 650, we get more flexible too with working capital up to 10 years, real estate 25. It just depends on what you bring to the table, if collateral is needed. And I'll get into some of the documentation that we'll likely need it at what point. And with my lender here at South End Capital, this is where I recommend. Again, there are other CRE type of banking slash divisions, but this is one of the strongest ones out there. And they make it easy, hassle free for you. We care about you. We don't just look at you as a number at all. And I don't, personally speaking, when I get into business with people, I want to know who you are to a degree. I'm introverted too, so it depends, how much you decide to open up and how much of that relationship we build with one another. But I am very careful, punctual, and disciplined, and I won't have my energy and time wasted. And I don't say that as in a negative way. I just want to make sure we're on the same page. And then from 200,000 to 5 million financing sizes, smaller loan sizes, there are available via our SBA Express program, which I kind of more or less went to, and there are alternatives. I'll leave more of that down below. And then how you can get actual bridge funding. There's this hybrid SBA 7A working capital product where we can get you funding for an SBA loan up to 10 years. If it's not that, maybe 3 to 7, 5 to 7, those express loan situations. And in the meantime, we can look at getting you bridge financing, like an unsecured term loan and or a line of credit with a merchant cash advance with a line of credit. Or so we can do that and do multiple amount of combinations that shouldn't affect one another. Maybe you have collateral you want to offer up, whatever that collateral is. Maybe there's business credit cards in the mix. This is why filling out that questionnaire form, if you haven't, if you have already, you can view that option, those options down below on top of what's your best one, if it's this one here, commercial real estate or other forms through South End Capital. Here are more details. You get to work with a top SBA preferred lender that is focused on you. And that's the key. You don't just want to go to the SBA.gov site. And I've said this time and time again. And the reasoning behind that is, who are you getting? Do you even know if it's a preferred lender? You may hear that, but is that information being given to other third parties? That usually does end up happening. Like, it gets tossed around from bank to bank. If it's not a banking lender, is there an advantage there? And I work with non-banking lenders as well. Sometimes you see a little bit of a higher rate, especially if you go to the traditional real estate, commercial real estate side, I should say, on that. But it depends on what you're trying to do. And the underwriting process, it is more hassle-free from what I've experienced. And with a lot of business owners, it's, hey, you go through the underwriting, it is hassle-free. You'll know what you need, and if we needed anything, it's proper communication, the credit facilities, we're all up to date on all of that, and making sure the credit committees and all this stuff, that goes on with being more quote unquote new school or being more flexible to you and your industry, as opposed to just walking into the bank all the time. If you can do that, and if you can't, there are these alternatives through here and how to do it with more flexibility. And if we look at it more in an in-house setup, so there's a lot more time to closing. The amount that you could possibly get could be more here. Loan to value, 90%, when we're looking at SBA 7A loans, differs than traditional, but nonetheless, you're getting looked at by somebody who's legitimate and understands your basic needs and your most sophisticated ones, because that's what you'll want somebody on your corner with to understand, hey, how many of them have done this? How many of them have done that? What's their experience level? And this is the best of the best. So you get to work with a top SBA preferred lender that is focused on you, first and foremost, myself too, delivering speed for you. Loan approvals may be issued in days upon receipt of a complete package, and funding occurs within weeks, not even months. Sometimes, depends also on how much of the documentation can you supply. That's where most people go, and hey, I thought it was a month. Well, when we asked for information, you didn't have it. It took you 5 days to do this, so we're now over a month overall. And then it goes in that direction, or it could be a little bit more paperwork intensive on certain parts, agreements, etc. But that's common, right? This is what happens when you're going through an SBA loan, commercial real estate, let alone an SBA 7A working capital. So be patient. Nationwide lending footprint, all 50 states plus DC, no population restrictions, and there are larger transactions from 1 million to 25 million may also be considered via our SBA 504 and USDA programs. We value personal attention to detail, and it's of most importance. We offer fast and efficient tech-enabled SBA financing with a human experience, myself in there, experience tailored specifically to you and each borrower. So you won't have to go through each step from the beginning of starting an application digitally and how we want things submitted and what needs to be submitted, to processing, to being pre-approved, which you'll know about, and at what stages will I ask for documentation, beginning, in the middle, the end, if anything I need to gather, or who directly, lender, etc. I have these pieces of information. I know what's happening in underwriting. And so before I go too into depth on that, there are different stages to all of this, and just be patient and I will work with you. And again, there's no friction with me. Let's do this where there's no friction, no resistance. We know what we need to do. It's been probably clarified a couple times, or just not even needed to be clarified for once, and we're good to go. And we're on board. We're rocking and rolling. I got your back. No worries. I'll follow up with you. I got you. We value personal attention to detail, and it's the most important. We offer fast and efficient tech-enabled SBA financing with human experience, as I said, tailored specifically to you and each borrower. I wanted to reiterate that. A 1% referral fee paid on each in-house funded SBA 7A loan. Certain exclusions do apply, and it depends on a per basis on what you're getting and so forth, but kind of more or less experience that. Product/service overview. Loan size is 200,000 to 5 million. As I said, I just want to reiterate that again so you see it. Sometimes it takes us to see the same thing over and over to realize something. Full documentation, underwriting, tax returns, PFS, personal financial statement. That's what it is for short, PFS. I've done this a lot, guys. And if you are one of those wondering, yes, I've done this, and especially a lot of SBA 7A working capital loans where we ask for the personal financial statements and I collect them. Financials, projections, if applicable, all SBA required forms, etc. And then I can share with you those pieces of documentation and at what point will you need to submit them back to me. It can be sent back via email and then I can, sometimes we can just even upload it online or have you upload it. But if it's just me asking you to send it to me but if I ask you to send it to me, please send it via email. I'll organize it. I can review it. After that, we'll review it beforehand and then get it submitted. If there's not something that I need to go ahead and tell you about, I will reach out to you or just confirm this is okay, whatever that may be. But I will have great communication with you. And projections, if applicable, always SBA required forms, etc. This could be extensive, just so you know this. But if you know what you're getting yourself into, and you're going to see the long-term vision of it, and go, that documentation, what I had to do back then, I'm looking back and I'm even having a laugh about it. I'm having even my adult beverage or whatever that may be of water, and you're like thinking back, well, I was so happy that I got this done with this guy because he was somebody that I could focus on and know that he'll be taking care of my documentation and he knows what to look for. Like I evaluate and analyze things. I can pre-underwrite files myself before I send them to a lender. And that's what I love about doing things. I work with a lot of business owners too, understanding their profitability margins and seeing where they are year over year, and then reverse engineering from there to a gross profit, to gross margins, month to month, gross sales, etc., revenue, deposits, and I can figure out what services to focus on more, where you're not doing well in, and why you have so much on your plate, and why you don't have enough, etc. But that's for a later time. 675 plus preferred credit, lower credit considered through our marketplace. All SBA eligible industries and property types considered. No minimum time in business. Startups considered with strong collateral, experience, and personal sponsorship. Preferred minimum global debt service coverage ratio, DSR 1.15 to 1.25. Sometimes you've even seen it go less because of their industry. I know trucking, that's one huge one. And a lot of people are looking for ways of getting financing for maybe a loan dealership for trucks. One, and there's multiple other scenarios where there might be needed to be a combination of a 504 loan if it's that, maybe a combination of a 7A loan if they are not a startup completely, and if they're a startup looking to purchase a business, it might be a bit differently set up, but maybe there's venture capitalists brought on at that point and a few other things that we have to look at. So it just depends on the situation, but that's ideally the SCR. And I do these kind of things myself too, and I associate and I go, what would be the maximum loan amount predictable that they may be able to qualify for, and then up to 90% financing. If so, then that other 10%, how's it being accumulated, and you're able to provide that. So that's a huge advantage there. And then projection-based revenue considered. Loan proceeds can be used for most eligible business purposes, i.e. purchase, refinance, construct real estate, working capital, debt consolidating, equipment, business acquisition, startups, etc. All SBA eligible business property types considered, including special purpose property and land. It's cool right there. Helpful. High loan to value, that's LTV for short. Or you could even say HLTV, but it's normally just said as LTV. It's what we're familiar with. Financing possible with compensating factors, including up to 100% LTV CRE purchase financing for borrowers that meet certain eligibility requirements. So here are the rates, and this can shift for our economy and where we are. So maybe you're watching this later on. Maybe it's gone up by then, or it's gone down. But currently what we're sitting at is at the 7% range. Plus 1.75 to 3%, and that can also vary depending on the SBA 7A type and how it's amortized and what financials you bring to the table, and a few other components on what appraised value and the return on that investment over time. So there's so much, but fully amortized loans from 10 to 25 years when available. Additional real estate collateral, primary or second residence, investment property, et cetera, may be required to be pledged. Not in all cases, but you'll see that with varieties of lenders. Alternative financing options offered through our marketplace when internal financing options are not available. Time to funding. So this could be more or less what you'll kind of see here. So pre-qualify in 5 minutes, conditional approval in about 30 minutes. So you're going to go through that step-by-step process. I'm going to share with you the link. If it's not down below in the description, you've probably seen it from the email, or I'll leave it down there so you can get started. And conditional approval in about 30 minutes and funds as fast as 30 days after credit approval. So it could even be quicker. And so there's that credit stage, you're going through the process, and I'll go into it a little bit more. Financing, you can get up to 90% financing, and this is why it's so lucrative. And many business owners do their own math, and I've done it with owners where they look at their DTI, business personal, whatever that may be, a combination of the two separately, etc. We look at possible loan scenarios, where they're getting that other 10%. Is that applicable? Is it not? There are many loan scenarios I can speak with you. Loan term, 25-year, fully amortizing CRE loan with no prepayment penalty after 3 years. Year 1 equals 5%, year 2 equals 3%, and year 3 equals 1%. So this is huge because a lot of the lenders in this commercial real estate world are focused on the SBA 7A program more than the majority of anything else because of balloon payments. And they look at all this stuff and how the terms and everything actually makes sense, and guarantee fees and all of this stuff included. It's more energy, time, and the return on the investment for the lender to make their money on it. So a lot of this is working out in today's market. So you're in the right place if this is something that you can't even qualify for too. So monthly payments will be debited from your checking account. That's the majority of what you'll see a lot of times. There may be some exceptions here or there, but that's what you see for a majority. Fees, 1% referral and package fees plus bank closing costs. It can be 2.25 to 2.76 SBA guarantee fee depending on the loan size. And that again, it shifts the guarantee, 3% maybe, 2.6, 2.25, just depends. You could get the least amount. But until we go in the underwriting, I can give you more information, spit back more numbers perhaps. Security, first lien on subject property plus best available lien on business assets plus personal guarantee possible there. Geographic coverage could be nationwide. We saw the 50 plus states plus DC. Here are some qualifications and borrower eligibility. This is just very common what you see with the SBA 7A program, let alone the commercial real estate side. So make sure you have this or clear it up, be ready. Public records, have no bankruptcies or foreclosures in the past 3 years, have no outstanding collections, have no open tax liens, no recent 30-plus day late payments. For your cash flow here, excuse me, it's a little bit of time on video. You must have sufficient business and personal cash flow to service all debt payments, then demonstrated by 2 years of tax returns and financials, and maybe 3 years, personal and business. There will be a stage in the documentation collection process where I can communicate with you what I'll need. Maybe in the beginning, I need you to fill out a link. And then once you get to the pre-qualification, or even before that, I may have requested some documentation. I see things in my portal where you are. So at that point, sometimes the information does shift. So sometimes it's better that you submit that, and then I can communicate with you what I'll need after. Or if I have it already from you up front, that's something that also I can ask of you. But sometimes just filling out that link and then I can get more information. Either way, but I'll let you know in those questionnaire forms. You can read about it a little bit of the documentation part. For your cash flow, as you saw there, demonstrated by the 2 years of tax returns and financials. Here are the SBA specific criteria. Just have no felonies, have no delinquencies, and or default on government loans. Very big there. That's kind of an obvious on the default. Basic eligibility to meet time in business, just have above 2 years. Owners must be U.S. citizens or lawful permanent residents. Your business must be located in the U.S. Your business must be open to all non-discriminatory basis. Businesses is operating for profit. Your business must be able to demonstrate repayability from its earnings or repayment ability there. Your business must not be involved in lending, investing in real estate, religion, politics, gambling, or sex-related industries. At least 51% of the property square footage must be occupied and used by the business. Use of proceeds to refinance or purchase of owner-occupied commercial real estate. And you do see this more commonly in the SBA 7A working capital world, and also with private lenders on unsecured financing, where the SBA 7A, you have to be careful about using that for a real estate investment, like on apartment complexes, single family, multifamily homes, fix and flips of any nature, that intertwines. But they look at that as short-term gains. And even if it's a long-term play, you're taking money in, getting money out, reinvesting it, and doing a lot of different things that the lenders are gonna not be happy about. And it's hard for them to predict when they'll get their return. And then if there's a default or how's this money being allocated, it's also how you're moving money and how they're having to track everything, no matter if it's showing on bank statements or whatever that is. There's a lot more. There's more reasons behind it. Just be very careful of that. But it's, commercial real estate, you're looking at the owner occupied, non-owner occupied is, a bit more difficult to even consider. Process flow. So what you're going to see is step-by-step breakdown of kind of more or less what you're going to expect to go into. Step one, pre-qualification. You will input your personal info along with loan info, such as the amount for purchase or refi, your business ownership info and property ownership information. There may be a little bit more there, but it could be a quick 30 to 60 second digital application. A lot of times what you see. Step two, financial section. Sometimes there's even a hard copy PDF if we do more of an in-house, but you'll be shown that stuff if necessary. Step two, financial section. I will need to collect your 3 years of business tax returns, 3 years of personal tax returns, interim P&L and balance sheet. So majority of it being the current year for 2022, now 2022, 2023 next year, how far that goes into quarter-wise, that depends on that. So quarter ones to quarter three, up to October if you have those, November at a December time or wherever that is. Just make sure you supply that. Business and management info, property information, purchase contract, if applicable. There may be a little bit more, maybe just 2 years, and then a personal financial statement. I'll share with you things what I do need, and then we can go from there. And again, like I said, if you start the link first, then I'll gather more and I'll be showing like what the lender is specifically wanting for your situation too. So you will first go through the app link I have below for you, and I'll show you how that looks. I'll be notified that I can ask for documentation at that stage, which I'll reply back via email usually, and then sending it to you, or requesting it from you. You can send it to me. I'll organize it via email. I can do it on Google Drive, etc. Review, boom, send over to the lender, etc. There may be other ways to submit it, but if not above is best, then we'll go with that. So step three, credit approvals. An appraisal can take place. Environmental review, phase one. Step four, closing. I'll need business documentation, lease agreement, loan doc preparation, just depending on what that commercial real estate property needs. If there are any other like contracts, other kinds of agreements, things that we need to look at that we'll specifically ask for with the lender. It may be a three-way call with us. It may just be you and the lender, other ways of submitting the documentation. So there are various ways of working this in. So you don't have to send me anything via doc right now. We can go through the link below to get started. We can go there first, and then I'll ask for stuff. Or I'll ask for it in the beginning. There are clients where I will ask for it in the beginning. It's your situation. We'll ask for you to go through that app first, and then we can go from there. And then I'll show you how this looks like. So if I clicked here, and give it a second there. South End Capital, I'm in partnership with lender and the association there. Please complete the field below, and a representative will reach out promptly to review your financing request. I have my team, and we do an amazing job at this. And it's best to have a team looking over this, and especially with a lot of the work that I do on my end, and then having to cater to other individuals. It's best energy and time used. And I know what's happening on the underwriting and what's happening with the lender, we're in communication. So don't worry about those things. I got you. I'm not going to just leave you. And this is not an application for credit from South End Capital or Streams Bank. Sometimes you do see like a credit application, commonly with like equipment financing. Sometimes you'll see that right up front. NA submitting, South End Capital or Stearns Bank NA submitting this form will not affect your credit score. South End Capital and or Stearns Bank NA, as there's association power there through that bank, will use the information below for the purpose of pre-qualifying you for potential financing. So you'll put in the requested loan amount. Let's just entertain this and say we're putting, that's far low, right? If you're looking for, let's just say, I'm looking for 2 million. I'm going to go out there and put that amount. Estimated borrower score. I'm not going to give you my exact one, but I'll just put there's an 800 there. Borrower full name, put first and last name. You can put your middle name too, middle initial. Borrower mobile phone number. I'm not going to put it out there right now, but borrower email. I might be able to put mine here and it auto populates. And now you see it. You already probably have it anyways. It's not a big deal. But I just don't want people continuously just call, oh, I just got his number from this video. I'm just gonna give them a quick call. And I don't always pick up like inbound calls. Outbound, I don't always give them all the time unless they're scheduled and they're appropriate because it doesn't always necessarily need to be a phone call. Cases it does, not always. And so business industry type, you select from the drop down here. Let me just put in here cannabis, business entity structure. What are you, LLC? Let's put that there. Business entity type. Entity address I should put, but I'm not going to put that here. Mine, business address, business start date. You can put that. You can select there, go there. And is there a business website? I mean, I would have one, so make sure you do. Probably been in this long enough to know that and what that does with business credit, and approval rates and limits, and there's a lot more flexibility there. Please describe your financing request. And this is the area now where whether you gave it to me, I could put it here whether I wrote it down elsewhere or so forth, but you want to take an initiative. Since you're the one filling this out, I want you to put in there where you more or less already told me, which I have, but I'm saying you're the one that is going through this. I don't want to be held liable for filling something out that I wasn't able to, I mean, if I could or not. But you do this. A lot of people always want me to do it for them, but just make sure you do. And then just be in detail. Like I'm looking for 3 million on this. This is what I would look like having on DTI. And they don't have to get so specific in the numbers. But if you have it, you're going to be like, oh. And when people do that with me, I go, oh, awesome. You made my life easier. So if you can make my life easier, more time efficient, etc., the lenders, my team, simple. Acknowledgement, when you select I agree and click the submit button below, you represent and warrant to South Capital, Division of Stearns Bank NA, and its successors as signs. So it's very safe, legit. And you can press agree, form submitter. And then, like I said, again, I can do it as the partner for you. But either way, I just, take the time. I would prefer you do this because you have an idea. That's why I say that, because you want to know what you're doing, right? You don't want somebody else just to fill it out unless you have a lot of trust in me, which is fine. I won't do anything wrong. I'll make sure I fill it out accordingly as long as I have that information up front. I can go in here and then, even upload documentation. But as the borrower, that's what I would prefer to do. Best point of contact, information, complete the field below for the best point of contact for this request, contact full name, contact title, contact email, contact phone. So you may already have some of these numbers already in here above. Business phone number probably is different than mobile number, whatever you submitted. So make sure it's accurate. Don't put something that's like, because you feel like we're gonna spam you. That's not what this is for. You shouldn't even be submitting this if you feel that way about things. You feel like, oh, I'm just gonna submit something and see what happens. Don't do that. Especially when you come through me, you're dealing with a legitimate person who's not a robot. I'm going to be there. And if you've already seen that, you know that I care personally and in business. So I'll be there to help you out and don't waste my energy and time on that. And a lot of real estate investors like to do that where I'm just trying to seek 100% financing, or I'm just trying to see what is out there. So I contacted 100 different people and I have an Excel spreadsheet. You wouldn't imagine how many real estate investors and people looking for real estate financing that show me that. I've been on Zoom calls with people who actually show me their screen and they go through all the things that they've done. And I go, how much time have you spent doing this? Over months consistently. Yeah, I've just been looking. So I'm ready for months. I get that part. I get it. You're looking and you're evaluating different options, but you get caught up in that world too much and you don't invest time into really understanding how this works and why who you're going through is also very important, like myself, and why that should matter because of care. Submit there. And like I said, there's a step-by-step process to going through all this. You see that there. Equipment financing, I'll just quickly let you see it on the screen, but 5 to 5 million financing sizes up to 84-month financing terms available. No set credit score minimum, 620 though is preferred. 100% financing and equipment purchases are available. This does not apply for startups. In most cases, a down payment would be required on the purchase for a startup. We give them that leeway, but especially having higher credit would do make a big difference. Loans up to 150K are application only. Larger financing can be considered case by case with an application only when compensating factors are not required. Most industries are eligible. Certain restrictions may apply. No minimum time in business on most details. Equipment financing for startups is available with 3 months of bank statements may be required. Startups require 700 plus, and there's that part. And that's not, for me, it's not uncommon. I do a lot of equipment financing deals too with a lot of different lenders directly. And I also have a brokerage where I already have those direct lender relationships. It's better to go through this vault because of flexibility, early payment discounts. You get a lot more in-house look, and that's what I prefer, especially in a market like this. And moving forward, that's what I would do. And then they require 700 plus credit and strong compensating personal financials and industry experience. Any new or used mission critical Yeah, mission critical equipment, excuse me. Mission critical meaning that it is essential to the operation of the business. That's what it is. Custom payment structures are available to meet the needs of the business, delayed payments, seasonal payments, step payments, semi-annual payments, etc. Corporation only financing considered case by case. And you know the whole run round with equipment or the invoice or a link of the URL, usually the equipment invoice, or just knowing what we have on the table. And I'll leave more information of this so you can understand it better and how it works with the different programs, Shelly Express loan, business, real estate, and closings here, and then press, and then, oh, sorry, sometimes that happens. There has to be an update. And then we can go to the team. There, you got to see that more or less in the structure. What collateral will SEC lend against? Only commercial real estate, 1 to 4 units, non-owner occupied commonly. Residential properties held are to be acquired for investment purposes. Businesses and hard business assets, i.e. equipment, machinery, etc., are eligible for financing under our programs. SEC can also provide business financing without any collateral, which you commonly see too with SBA 7A. And it's cash flow that's also a big component that can override that. Now, well, sometimes I just want to see what assets, if any, you have on hand, assets and liabilities, et cetera. In a number of cases, we do not offer financing on owner-occupied residential properties, securities, or any type of collateral, any other types of collateral. So let's move this up here to what matters for the client. Does SEC offer loan programs outside of the U.S.? We offer loan programs in all 50 states plus Washington, D.C. We do not offer loan programs in any other countries. How long does it take to close a loan with the SEC? Closing time depends on the financing type. More or less went over that on the CRE and so forth. But we prioritize speed throughout the loan process. Equipment and marketplace business financing can be approved and funded in less than a day. Real estate SBA and USDA loan approval can occur in a matter of days after receipt of completed loan application within the entire funding process, taking approximately 45 to 90 days. And that's what you see with, up to 10-year, even 25-year working capital, whatever you're looking for. It's like gonna take you 6 to 8 weeks, 4 to 8 weeks to closing on all that. So you got to ask yourself, is it worth me waiting this? And if it is, that investment is going to make sense, then you go for it. And there's a couple more things to look at. Does SEC charge loan points and or fees at closing? SEC charges standard origination and closing fees because we are a division of a bank. Our fee tends to be lower than our competitors. And that's the great thing about it. The fees are lowered, and it's a division of working with the bank. And we are happy to provide a free fee estimate, I should say, upon request, so there are no surprises. Does SEC charge upfront fees? No. SEC charges no upfront or application fees. After a borrower signs and accepts a term sheet, he/she will be responsible for the payment of any required due diligence fees, if applicable, such as an appraisal or environmental report fee. Oh, there's a little bit there. As a broker myself, costly issue. So just kind of give you insight to why I would do this myself. If you're a borrower looking for financing in this market, you know the process can be difficult and confusing. SEC is an experienced lender founded in 2009 with a focus on customer service, transparency, and ethical practices. We have always concentrated on providing non-conforming borrowers that are on the most competitive and affordable loan options, and we have built a reputation as a market leader doing just that. So you can even Google them. If you are a broker or lender, then you know loan fallout is a costly issue that can be resolved and monetized by the straight right strategic partner. The loan program SEC offers a genuine, and they perform what they do. We utilize the latest technology to offer our partners fees and incentives once approved and access and so forth. What documents are required? You can see there's a bit of a difference with different ones. I'll give you a quick look through there. Seller tax returns, financials, purchase agreement, construction budget, and or feasible studies, rent roll, operating statement, existing appraisal, and environmental reports, as we spoke about that, and fees and everything like that. So you see that on screen. Went over that. And again, I'm going to leave the link down below to fill out that I showed you earlier. And you can go ahead and get started there. This is the one. And if you haven't filled out the questionnaire form and you'd like to weigh this option and more, perhaps, but this is one I strongly recommend, then look down below in the description for that. Let me see, did I miss anything? I want to make sure that I didn't. Yeah, let me do this for you. And then we'll round up the video. And again, that questionnaire will be down below in the description. And you'll be able to learn more. So Here you see awesome experience through Stern Bank. This is my first time dealing with SBA loan with Stern Bank and the whole process that was very easy to follow. And again, it's a division that handles it. So this is why you want to go through this. Janine and Kaylin were very professional and helpful when I had some questions regarding the loan. I would definitely recommend Stern Bank to anyone looking for funding for their business. Thanks again. Tried several banks for my clients before finally landing on Stern's Bank, and they are very amazing. Just so you know this, and I work only with the best people out there. I vet them myself. It takes energy and time to do that, and working with them, not just saying I have an association with them and just leave them there. Fast and easy equipment financing, getting my client funded for their equipment finance needs with South End Capital Insurance Bank was quick and easy. Austin was big help and so forth. So there are loads of different equipment financing options. I know one of them is through here. Does this one make the most sense as opposed to the others? That's why I can show you multiple options in that questionnaire form and what makes more sense to get started with. Loan officers were very helpful, very proud for my clients. Patience is a virtue. South End Capital Insurance Bank, quality service and patience beyond approach. Fast and highly profitable and smooth transaction. Very positive, fast process obtaining equipment loans for clients. South End Capital report prompt. So quite a bit screwed me over completely. So you got to kind of take these with a grain of salt. And there's people out there who probably get upset, frustrated at something that didn't work out for them because they didn't have the right understanding. And a lot of reviews out there are misleading. Maybe they're a marketing ploy, but I know the truth behind a lot of this in the process. After waiting a week, I was informed that they would not process my PPP loan at the time. They initially accepted the loan and documents, and then they said they cannot help me. I will have to resubmit my loan, be paid. Da, 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 da. Thank you for your feedback. The first round of PPP funding that was approved by the government created a difficult and stressful environment for business providers. That sentence alone should say, hey, this is why this kind of stuff takes time and relooking over the documents, like idle loan documents. What went there wrong? And having to review things over again, asking for things again, different forms, 3502, 35. There's so much forms that were having to be looked at and what was amended here, what was amended there, what wasn't, and just the right tax return and making sure everything looked clean. And so PPP loan and non-direct lender was associated with that. And how they assisted in the PPP loan in that process was a bit different. South End Capital did an excellent job, very creative, they never give up. So you see a lot of that. So that's what I'm going to conclude with in this video. Hopefully you got value out of this. Make sure you go ahead and check this out. Let me do one more thing here to show you with Stearns Bank / credit union there. Bank / credit union, as I said. So let me come back to this. You can see quite a bit there. And then if we go here to the Facebook business page, commercial bank, click there. You see more there, loans, business banking, personal banking, and then over here, see more on the variety, what's offered, equipment financing, SBA loans, learn more, small business loans, program, SBA 7A loan, 504 debt refinancing loan, and so forth, and how this is being handled. Okay, so let me come back up here one more time and then just show you loans, real estate finance, construction loans, affordable housing, USDA rural development opportunity zones. The Stearns Bank difference, experience with complex financial structures, creativity and flexible terms, and quite a bit more. You're seeing there. Accomplished and installs player in the National Football League, retired Arizona with his wife. Paul's next venture came into focus with the help of Stearns Bank, Arizona markets manager Tom Hoysier. And then a little bit more there, commercial real estate financing team and how we're able to help and facilitate the process done by CRE and the SBA 7A, getting that done here through the subsidiary or the division of Stearns Bank. So let's go back here once more. And then we can see let me do this. Stearns Bank acquires South End Capital. So that you see how that works there. There's a story there. So I've already done my homework on all of this. Excited about how much more we can do together to expand the financing and banking services. So that's how they're connected, and this is going to help you in the long-term direction. About Stearns Bank, Minnesota-based Stearns Bank National Association, a 2.2 billion independently owned financial institution with locations in Minnesota, Florida, and Arizona, as you saw one example earlier from Arizona, and over 35,000 small business customers nationwide. About Southland Capital, we learned about that just briefly or earlier. American banker there through this partnership. So you're getting a lot through this source, and this is how it's going to work. So yes, that will conclude everything. Please go down below in the description to get started. There's going to be a link there, but also fill out the questionnaire if you haven't. If you come from the questionnaire itself, from the email or wherever that may be, in a different place, then you can go ahead and start there. And there's an application link, and I'll ask how the documentation will be submitted. And if I ask for it up front beforehand, you submit something, or should you go to that link first, which a majority of the times it will be that. So that'll be everything for me. Appreciate you for tuning in. I believe I've covered everything. I'm looking over my tabs here to make sure I didn't miss anything. No, I did not there. No. Okay. So yeah, that'll conclude everything. Appreciate you for tuning in. And if anything ever does change, I'll give more information on the description and showing you in the email format and the questionnaire and other ways as well. So that is everything from me for now. Look in the description for that option as well as others. If you want to view more content, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you. Take care. Bye.